So guys, I don't know if you know this, but part of rehabbing big homes is not only designing and renovating the inside, but it's also designing and renovating the landscape.
Yep, and we always got to stay within a budget, so we're going to show you exactly how to do that. So we do everything when we landscape a property on a rehab within a specific budget. And the budgets really aren't that crazy. On a multi-million-dollar house like this, our budget was probably only $7,000 to $10,000.
Right, but for that, we ripped out almost 100% of the old landscaping, kept a lot of the mature stuff like the mature trees, and we're gonna break down what we've installed and how much it costs and why.
So coming into the front yard, there's a couple smaller areas that we had to figure out how to landscape, but we also wanted to make them more modern looking. So this used to be grass. Here in Vegas, they really don't want you using grass anymore. They actually give you tax credits for desert landscaping. So we installed turf instead of grass to cut that budget down.
Yeah, one thing you guys need to know is that turf can come in so many different shapes and sizes. Turf can be anywhere from $1 a square foot, which is really on the cheap side, anywhere up to $15 a square foot, which is super high end and definitely not necessary. The stuff we use is actually really soft, it looks great, it lasts forever, and it's only about $3.50 a square foot.
So to pop against the green turf, a really cheap and it's extremely inexpensive design is this chat rock here. This is actually a crushed gravel. It's a bunch of small rocks and it's called a gold chat. It's probably maybe $50 a ton to bring this in, and it's very inexpensive to lay as well in terms of labor, but it gives you a very modern look when they compact it down and put some bright green plants in it.
So another thing we like to do is mix and match materials, so we don't want to ever just come in and do one thing to the yard. So we decided to take this centerpiece and the walkway up to the door and make that kind of stand out by using some dark river rock and planting some desert plants. Now this plant we kind of splurged on. These you can probably find for like $100 to $200, but all of the other plants in here and even the smaller ones around the house are anywhere from like $10 to $20 per plant. Doesn't have to break the bank to look beautiful.
So if you notice throughout the yard, we have these small LED spotlights, and these are all LED, so they're very cheap, they don't use a lot of power, and they really light the house up and the landscape up. Super important for the multi-million-dollar luxury projects. So coming into the backyard now, we actually did a couple things that are pretty new to our landscape design.
Yeah, so one thing you have to keep in mind is no landscape job is complete unless you do the front, the side, and the back. We don't skip on anything, so the full property gets a landscape update. Now, some of those different things that we've done in this yard is instead of using the rock and the chat, which we do a lot, we've actually incorporated this mulch into the landscape design. It adds a whole nother color, and I honestly think it pops even better off of all the green plants and even some of the flowers that we've installed right here.
Yeah, look at how beautiful the green plants look against the black mulch.
Yeah.
And this stuff is even cheaper than the rock. It's unbelievably inexpensive, and it looks great, and it's easy to manage as well. So like the interior of the property, you want the landscape and the exterior to feel just as cohesive and just as updated. So as you can see, we have some turf in the backyard as well from the front. We used a river rock, and we always like to use similar plants around the yard so it feels like it's all one.
So the landscaping is gonna flow all the way through the courtyard right there, all the way through to the backyard. Now, one kind of problem that we've had so far was we were assuming that our pool guys who are installing all of our pads are gonna be leveling this whole area. Turns out they're not.
It's quite a bit of area to level out. This is a lot of dirt to move.
And unfortunately, they've already kind of pretty much closed up their side access, so they can't get in here with the machinery that's needed to take out the dirt, which doesn't look like a lot, but it is a lot of dirt. So instead, what we've come up with is our fence is gonna go about here. Instead of having a level ground from our fence all the way to the pool, we're gonna continue this planter about 3 feet this way, which will give us a nice 3-foot border to plant in and continue this whole look. So that'll look like it just stretches out. The turf's gonna start right there at the concrete, and from here over, it's gonna be level.
All the way over.
All the way over. So when you stand over there and look out at your backyard, this green is gonna flow all the way into the fairway. It's gonna look like your yard goes right into the golf course.
It's a huge yard. As you can see, they have all the formations ready to go to pour the concrete. So if you wondered how they do those concrete pads with the turf in between them, this is exactly how. So this, what I'm standing in here, will be a nice concrete pad, as well as this one here. Between them, right here and on the side here, is gonna be the turf. So once again, we're cohesiveness, we're carrying the turf throughout the entire pool deck with really cool, nice stained concrete pads all the way around. Should look really good.
So we've showed you guys a lot of this yard a few times, how we're gonna section it off, how we're gonna pour pads, run the turf in between and all around, and how we've dug this pool, the design of the pool, and the spa.
If you're wondering how much the pool and the decking and the turf between the deck costs, we'll tell you, it's $60,000, which isn't bad for a pool like this.
No, honestly, a pool can get way out of hand, especially if you start making it deeper or really large. To keep a pool, which is like this, which is perfectly fine, has a nice deep end, a swim deck, and a spa, that's really all you need. So keep in mind, making the pool an appropriate size can really help on your budget. And making sure that you don't do too much custom work around it by raising the spa or putting a lot of features in can really keep your budget down.
We really don't talk a lot about landscape. We really usually show you guys interiors of homes and what we do on the interior, but we thought it was important to show you how we budget for a landscape and how we design them to stay within that budget. You really don't have to get out of hand, as you can see from today.
If you have any questions on your landscapes or your budgets for your properties, give us a comment and we'll get back to you.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more tips on rehabbing and flipping homes.
Until then,
we'll see you on the flip side.